Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to be working on taking apart or talking through the process of how I decide what I want to use out of some thrifted jewelry. Now, I don't know what day this is. I don't know what day it is of the 100-day project. But because, as you know, I, like everyone else, tape ahead. So, you'll be able to tell in the title, or hopefully you're watching every day. Okay, I have assembled some thrifted jewelry. I don't know whether you have seen this. Like, I truly am getting a bit confused about what I've shown, what I've said, what I've done. It's a good thing I don't lie, because then it would be harder to remember what I said when. But, okay, so you may have seen some of this jewelry in a thrift video. And now you're going to see me do something with it. I will start out by saying that I've covered my work surface here with an old towel, just because I don't want to expose you to any swearing if something were to roll away and fall onto the floor, and it wouldn't be pretty. So this hopefully will prevent that. I've assembled some tools, and you'll notice that they're not a pink one among them, but I do have a pink set too. Anyway, wire cutters, and they come in all sorts of sizes. This, of course, is, it's about the right size for a woman's hand, and it's petite enough that it could do whatever we need it to do. They come in sizes probably up to about 8 inches in length, and that's for heavy-duty cutting and something you would find in the tool department of a hardware store, something like that. And in fact, this is where this sort of stuff has come from. These kind are called needle nose pliers. Here's another even longer one. And they tend to be, well, you can see what they're like. This has a bit of a curve to it. Now, I think I probably have more tools elsewhere. I know I have more tools elsewhere, but I don't think that's all going to be needed for today. Anyway, okay. Isn't this a lovely bruise? Some people tell time, the passage of time, by the growth rings on a tree, or the moon cycles, or, the seasons. You can tell the passage of time by the colors of my bruise. There are others in places that you will never see. And that is, I think, as a result of the heavier duty moving that we have been doing lately. But anyway, enough about that. Let us begin. Oh, another thing I've sort of prepped here is these cute little loaf pans that you can sometimes find in thrift stores. You can tell this is fairly gross, but that's okay, because I'm not using it for cooking. I also have a little ceramic, pottery type thing. These kind of little, well, let's call it a trinket bowl or something, for lack of a better word, are handy for sorting and separating and containing things. This is an egg cup. Again, if you have something tiny that you want to sort. One thing I don't have handy, but I have several of, are those plastic ice cube trays that you can find at Dollar... is it Dollar Tree or is it Dollarama? Anyway, when I bought some recently, they were $1.75, and they have a cover. So that is also pretty handy. I was using them to sort by color and design the postage stamps that I put in my Etsy shop. I tried to avoid duplicating stamps, so it was just easier to have all these ice cube trays in front of me to use for sorting. But my goodness, enough talk. Okay, so something like this, I will just set aside for the time being because I think it requires some special attention, and it is, you know, it's already been separated from its chain. So something like this, I should also say that I have a nickel allergy, so I can either only wear precious metal like gold or stainless steel. So anything costume, you know, is of no use to me because I would get a rash from it. So when I look at this, oh, and I have to say, most of this stuff I bought in a bag. Oh, and there was some ugly stuff. Some great big hoop earrings from, I don't know, the 90s maybe. You know, metal and just, yeah, awful. And a bunch of bracelets that, you know, those cheap plastic bangle bracelets. Anyway, I did see enough to sort of justify the purchase. I also don't believe that I have ever been to a garage sale in March. Certainly not in Alberta. So what I would do here is, number one, these drop pearls are really nice, and just think how beautiful they could look on as journal decoration. So basically, what I'm trying to do now, that's a pretty tight fit there. Sometimes, you know, depending what you've had for breakfast, you can just make these things work just with, you know, finger power. Let's try this narrower one. So basically what I'm trying to do, I can see that little, I think they're called, are they called head pins? You know, the thing that is running through this bead and holding this end cap and this top piece all together is then bent at the top to, you know, keep it all together and to attach it to this bracelet. Did I manage to pick something that is impossible to detach? As my very first, that, I find that a bit, okay, maybe I've got it now. Ah, yes. Okay, so I'm just going to bend that back a bit so that this thing doesn't, you know, begin coming apart. Because frankly, if I'm going to attach it to something, like I meant to bring the bulb pins closer. But I think everybody knows what a bulb pin looks like and how you can just, you know, stack stuff on it. Okay, so I've just bent that back again so this doesn't come apart. And so that it's kind of ready to be attached. Now, if I were attaching it to something kind of in a more permanent way, I would really make sure that the little loop is closed, or I would, well, I'd squeeze it together. And I might also, depending on how much movement I want, I would probably add a slip ring as well. So let's just prove that that wasn't a fluke and take another one off. I really shouldn't be buying jewelry even at a good price because I have a lot of my own that could be you know, turned into crafting supply. You know, it was one of those things that there was that Do you remember that phase where people were just layering on bracelets and necklaces and all those, you know, kind of, you know, like at a piece, as opposed to that fashion advice that, I don't know, who was it? Coco Chanel or somebody said, you know, like get dressed and then remove at least one piece of jewelry. But that was the opposite time period where, you know, if you didn't have 12 bracelets on, you just weren't dressed. Oh my goodness. Let's try another one. I do want to move on to something else. And if this doesn't come off easily, I just will move on to something else. Can I just spread it? It also helps to have some pretty good eyesight for this. I always find it amusing when I hear YouTubers talking about how they can't see anything and, oh, they should have put their glasses on. This kid has been wearing glasses since grade 3, so I can't imagine a day without glasses. And, you know, sort of struggling through life, not being able to see just is not an option. Okay, I surrender. Let's go on to something else. Okay, this, of course, is a cute dragonfly. Let's get this chain off. And I'd probably start a little bin for chains. Now, it's cute in itself. It's got this rather heavy-duty, let's see if I can see what that says. Could this even be silver because it's so tarnished? I do have one of those jeweler's loops, but of course, did I think of bringing it here? I also didn't imagine that there'd be anything of value here. I might have to look into that because it is awfully tarnished. Anyway, this thing does not have an opening in it. It looks like it's been soldered closed, so clearly I'm not taking that off. So this piece would be ready to go as is. That was easy. Okay, let's try something like this. So basically this is almost looks like a mother of pearl type pendant, quite an open chain. I would leave, well, that's attached, so I would leave that ring on and I would remove, I'd open it up at the second one. Now sometimes I'll try it just using one plier, but sometimes, no, that's going to be a tough one. Sometimes you need two, and your best strategy is to just sort of work them in opposite directions and pry that thing open. And, you know, kind of, I would say, open it as little as you can get away with. Now that chain is fairly, those links are fairly thick. It looks like I'm going to have to just open this a bit further because I cannot slide those links off. So again, just another slight little, hopefully I did something there. Got the chain off. Now again, using two pliers, I will close this up so I don't lose the ring. Whoa. And you can just tell, or I hope you can tell, that this is fairly thick. So obviously it has much more, you know, stability and strength to it than something that would be a lot thinner. So I'll add that to the pendant pile. Now, I guess I would probably leave the rest of this intact for the time being because I don't have a plan in mind. However, it could be opened up at any point. I could, if I was short of these little rings, I could open each of them or maybe two at a time, like keep these two connected, but remove it from this third one, and have a little stockpile of rings going. Sometimes when we're making dangles, we're looking for length. So maybe the logical place to take it apart would be at this point. So let's just do that because there's lots to work with here. So I should, it doesn't matter if I don't have a plan right this second. But it just, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes it's obvious what you need to do with a piece of jewelry. So that is what we have here. Other times it's not as obvious. There are choices to be made. And again, what you decide will depend on what your intention is. So then the links, the links change at this point. Maybe you want this lobster clasp thing as a way to, let's separate that there. Well, we don't need to separate, we just need to open it. Okay, suppose, just for the heck of it, I'm going to take it apart here to show you that option. Oops. And I want to close this. Or do I? Okay, this is what we have so far. We have this lobster, can you see? We have this lobster claw closure. We've got a few links there. We've got this bigger circle and then two little rings. Mind you, this one also has two, but just let's pretend. I could attach this and end up with that. No brainer, easy peasy. Now, because this seems like overkill with 1, 2, 3, 4 rings, I won't do that. But I just wanted you to see how easy it is to sort of remake these things based on, just sort of taking your time, considering the options. Whoops. If you hear any background noises, I'm still dog sitting Gertie, the French bulldog, our daughter's French bulldog. I'm surprised she's not chewing on that noisy thing. She was kind of snoozing when I first turned on the camera. That is probably good enough for now. You don't need to watch me struggle with that. Obviously it's not perfectly aligned, but it is adequate for keeping it all together. Okay, let's look at something else. Now this one is, this kind of a thing. So this is how it would go around your neck. So it's got these 2 rows here. So it seems to me, did you notice the big diamonds? Okay, what makes the most sense here? This is really pretty nice, you know. The people running the sale were a couple of men. I wonder, could they have sold some sort of a family heirloom? Okay, I would say that I would, now mind you, these are all double links. I wonder, I hope they open the same way as, oh, there's a connecting link right there. Maybe that's where it needs to come apart. I could see where the, oh yeah, there it is. So you see how this smaller, thinner ring, I was able to basically just open with 1 plier and, you know, a twist of the wrist kind of thing. Now maybe for closing it, I should use 2. This is such a tight squeeze here. Whoops, they are aligned pretty, you know, well enough. I just need to close them. So using one's wrist doesn't really, or using 2 pliers, it doesn't seem to be doing the trick. I'll see what I can do here. Okay, that helped with that. I would also do the same here, and then I end up with this. So let's quickly do that. Excuse me. Oh, I said I didn't need 2 pliers. Now it came off there. I hope you can see something. I was going to say what happened to the other chain, but they're still attached. There's a marking on there as well. Okay, so that came off here. No, must have come off the other end. Yeah, so let's just put that back on to keep it intact. Again, you know, it wouldn't have killed them to use a bigger ring. Okay, that's going to be, I was going to say that's going to be good enough, but maybe not. Oh, for heaven's sake. I'll do this when you're not watching. Yeah, this is going to fall off in no time. No, still didn't do it. There's hardly any space to get those pliers in there. That has to be good enough. We can't, at this rate, we're not going to get anything done here. Okay, so you can see that there is a wire, I guess another one of those pins running through these clear beads. So that could be another logical place to separate it. Now, I wonder how hard it would be to open this up, because I don't know, can you tell that there is a, you know, that there's a break right there? But would I? Okay, we're in the middle of nowhere, but let's see if I can open one of these up. Honestly, did I have to pick the hardest thing in the world? Oh. I bet you can't do that too many times before this would like to break off. Oh, did I already? Okay, well, I've proven that it can be done, but... Okay, so then we have that. So maybe we would like this to be, since that's so well attached there, that could be the access point for connecting it. Maybe the next logical place to take it apart would be right here. And maybe I shouldn't open it as much as I did last time, because I think that, you know, with too much on and off or too much bending back and forth, that would be a point of weakness, and eventually that metal would crack. Come on. Okay. Close this back up. And again, I suppose if something were to be attached, like maybe there was, you know, a bead or something, it could be, excuse me, it could be attached with, like this could stay closed so it doesn't get stressed again. And something could be attached with its own ring. Let's use that, this thing again as an example. So the smarter thing would be to open up this ring and attach it to there rather than stress that metal there again. So that is what I'm talking about. So anyway, we'll set that aside. Again, this is more, I don't know if it's so much a technique that I'm demonstrating here or a thought process. Oh, sorry. Okay, this is got this dangly bit here, so, you know, we don't want to, I think what I would do with this one is kind of keep most of it intact and just join the top. Actually, it wouldn't even need, I wouldn't even need to, oh, where the heck are the, too bad I didn't bring, whatchamacallit, bulb pin, because I could have demonstrated what I'm talking about. But let me take this apart. My goodness, these things are small. But they're also going to be weak. And again, another option, and why don't I just do that to save time? This is not precious at all. So it might be simpler just to take these little wire cutters, leave the larger ring intact, cut into that one. Twist and remove. Same thing on this side. So I'm leaving the first larger ring intact, cutting through that other one. We'll throw the chain in with the chain. And this is what we're left with. So you can imagine taking it. Why don't I just get one? It's not far. Sorry for leaving you. Okay. I even grabbed the right color. Okay, so let's feed this little thing on and this little thing on. And we've got a dangle. And it didn't take us half a day to do it. Stop and admire your work. This is pretty attractive. It looks like a tiger's eye. Of course, it wouldn't be the real thing, but okay, let's keep going. So this is sort of that style of necklace. You'd put that around your neck and this thing would hang. So probably the best bet here there's 5 of those. Okay, just for something different, I'm going to leave this bottom ring intact, and I'm going to, cut through. And again, with these skinny little chains, it doesn't take anything whatsoever to get through it. Okay, so that means that I now have this little ring here, so that if I wanted to attach well, I don't have anything handy that I could attach. But it, you know, it's easy enough to attach a charm or something like that. You know, obviously we wouldn't be mixing, you know, the silver and the gold color, but, you know, picture that being attached to that. It's also, the proportions are not quite right according to my eye. So again, what a person could do is the same thing I just did on that brown one. Leave the last ring, cut these 2 off, attach them with a bulb pin like so, and a little thing there. Or maybe we want something way longer. Or let's do this. Let's cut this off. Again, leaving the larger ring so that something more could be attached. I want to get that little thing off there. Oh, I've got 2. This is such fiddly work, guys. And it doesn't help when there's an audience. Okay, so I was going to do that. So I did that one, and I was going to do the other one. And again, if you have, you know, slip of the wrist, slip of the fingers, and you know, accidentally cut the wrong thing or remove the wrong thing, it can always be replaced. So now what I've done there, so let's pretend that the plan was, and we'd use a silver bulb pin, of course. Let's pretend that this was the plan, to have it dangly like so. And because we left those two little rings on there, we can still add something at the bottom, you know, maybe a little bead or something. And that's what we have there. So that's cool. Okay, let's move on to something else. I should also be checking the time. We're about the half-hour mark. I love this one because, again, you may know that I love the look of copper, rose gold. So I think maybe I'll just set this one aside because I think this is going to find its way onto something for moi. So I want to spend a little time thinking about that. Maybe you've kind of gotten the point of. So this is a similar type necklace, you know, a decoration and then a dangly bit. That is blue, by the way. So I would do something similar there. But let me show you something else. In that grab bag were these things, these two necklaces on memory wire. So it's easy enough to just straighten out this hook at the end, remove all the beads, reuse as desired. No problemo. This I salvaged off something, so it's just sitting kind of in this little thingamajig here with other odds and ends. Now you may have seen, no, I guess most of these don't have any. These are those little metal alphabets, these little letters that I got the other day. Most of them don't, no, well, none of them have holes in them, so, but you know, a little bead like that could finish something off. That's a snap fastener, so ignore that. But I have some bracelets like this. I love this, again, because it's hefty. It's got, you know, at least 2 or 3 types of metal happening there. It's got a bit of color that is blue. And with the little old snip of the elastic, maybe scissors would be better in this case. Got all these individual pieces. Now, oh, that's the end, so let's do this other. So clearly, if I would have been able to wear something like this, I might have, but I can't. But you can see, let me use my pointer, you can see that there are those two metal loops that the elastic ran through. So I don't see why where did I put the, okay, let's just see if a bulb pin would work there. Because again, I'm all about making life simpler if possible, so I don't think everything has to be done the hard way. This doesn't look like it's going to work because of the angles that are involved here. but that doesn't mean that I can't add a ring in there, which would give us a little bit more. Okay, let's just take one of these off here. Mind you, these were the heavy-duty ones that were resisting me. But is it going to be too thick to go through there? Yes, it will. So we need something intermediate in size. Do we have something there? Okay, let's use this one just for demo purposes. I open it up. I then, pick one that is closer to the edge. Like here, these two are both inset a little further. So I'm going to hook that on there. And close it. Whoops. Or I'm going to drop it and start again. Actually, let's make this even easier. Let's use this other bigger ring. I could leave that little thing on there, but I'm kind of curious to see what it says. Okay, so I'm going to loop these two rings together. Again, just to make it a bit easier. To give myself a little bit of distance here. So hopefully I can close that without it falling off again. Good enough for now. So can you see? I've attached two rings to that little loop. Pretend this was silver in color. And there you have it. Now the other thing, you know, this, because this is fairly substantial by itself, and it's got those little holes on the side, it could probably very discreetly also be hand sewn onto something, onto some fabric. So again, I think that once a person, you know, again, as I've said before, the first cut is the deepest. Once you take something apart and understand the mechanics of what's going on there, the options, will come to you. Okay, so enough about that piece. This one has kind of a gardening theme, and I thought, oh, isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? Now, holding this together is this chain. So, obviously, I can cut through the chain and free up these. Oh, that one is kind of rigidly attached. Okay, so in this case, what I would have to do, let's see if I can just bend it with brute force. No. I remove that. And, okay, the minute I cut that, and let me cut it, because again, it's no good to me in bracelet form. That falls off. That can become a charm with a carrot and a cob of corn. So same scenario. Okay, now they're all off. Same scenario at this end. Maybe rather than cut it, I'll just pull these guys out. Add that to my little sorting thing. That is the dog snuffling and snorting. And okay, so I've got two things freed up right there. Incidentally, I don't throw any of this stuff away. I don't know if it can be reused or not in someplace else. Now with these other things, okay, so you may, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there seems to, let me find my pin here for unsticking things. I think it was it this one? Yeah. So you can see, this is my glue poker outer. Ah! Try not to poke yourself in the finger. There is an opening here. So a piece of thread, a little bit of cord, embroidery thread could be run through here and create a dangle that way. Here are some shears and a little spade type thing, watering can. Again, I would look each of them over to see what the possibilities are. Okay, what else did I want to show you? Oh, we'll end on this one. This too is one of those elasticy type things. And they are obviously pretty big and clunky the way they are. However, now I need something more like a little screwdriver, which I have in my drawer here. So, very gingerly, I would be trying to bend back this claw type thing here, and hopefully maybe doing only two would be enough. Mind you, it's fairly strong stuff, so now I've got this flat thing that could now be glued onto something, and I have this. Now, I've never done anything with resin or anything like that. It's fairly deep, almost, well, not quite a quarter of an inch, and it does have those holes. So pouring something like resin or glossy accents or something like that might not be that wise. But that's not to say that a person couldn't put, well, this isn't obviously the right size or shape, but, could also glue a piece of, paper in there. Maybe break these things off, cut these things off. I don't know. I'd have to play around a bit with that. But just even freeing up 6 of these guys is something, I'm further ahead than that bracelet that I couldn't wear. So I think I'm going to stop here. I hope that you either look through your own jewelry box or, score a grab bag of stuff that you can play with and don't, they're not family heirlooms. So again, whatever you salvage is a bonus. If something gets wrecked in the process, that's not that big a deal. And I think that we can start snazzing up the look of our projects with some bling, with some shiny objects. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.